get a first name, and I only get a last name. But no, thank you very much, guys, for your input into coming into Inferno. It's going to be interesting, considering Nemiga did win 16-2 last time they played in the qualifiers for the minor. Difference is, this is a whole different Gambit as we're seeing now today. A much more composed Gambit, I think, is a really key factor.
Yeah, as I said in the previous game, I highly doubt the Gambit would have let this map through if they haven't made a load of changes to what we saw when they played previously. Like, although they may not feel completely comfortable on Nuke, if you go up against the team, you get absolutely obliterated on this map, and then you go, I feel like doing it again. I think you have some sort of kink that maybe people should talk about, because that's...
Hey, we're not kink shaming here, all right?
I was going to say,
we don't do that.
Getting absolutely beaten. Why? Actually, I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask. You're a weird guy. It's probably something.
Yeah, like you know that, but the people at home don't know that.
Maybe it's just something like you like being paired up with really small people, or just something like that.
Well, everyone's small compared to me normally. If you have me and Launders, I think we're going to have one of the tallest casting duos in CS.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to disagree. And then you can get me and Blair. And,
in the middle?
Yeah, we can get a smaller desk. Everything will work.
Just make giants. But ladies and gentlemen, we're about to kick off here. First half of our second map. Currently, Gambit is one more map away from getting through into the final match of the day. Although they would play against Simon Gaming, who they met yesterday and lost to up on Train. A loser of this match, well, they'll be out of the entire minor. They won't be playing in the major. Maybe they'll attend it as a viewer, but not as a player, unfortunately. And obviously, a lot of these players would love to be there. I mean, that's the pinnacle of CS, right? That's what you're competing for day in and day out, to be at, to be the best, to play against the best, and more importantly, to get stickers.
Of course, everybody loves stickers. From the day you're born to the day you die.
It's true.
I love stickers.
That was my first word when I was growing up. Stickers.
I highly doubt that, but either way, we are going to have the CT side with a fairly standard setup, but more so they've at least originally abandoned the site. They're going to send Dosia back over. They did a great job of anchoring the B site on the previous map, so we'll see if he can replicate that going into Inferno. The T's, though, playing things very slow indeed. Still have a little bit of utility onto Hitmouse, and does give them the opportunity to at least smoke off one side, maybe like speed up the pace on towards that short position. But there's a couple of players over towards the pit, and that's always a very difficult position to clear. I will say I like the fact that we see Axar with a CZ, because a lot of the time you see somebody jump out of the apartments area and just get absolutely ruined by the fact you can't hit the shot with the USP. But Bondic is going to be there to open it. Axar, nice shot back, and the CTs have got off to a flying start already. Bondic from the pit doing a hell of a lot of damage, but Robo will be able to finish him off. Now he gets one more kill. There's a chance for a bomb plant, but Mo says no.
Well, in round 2 now for Nemiga. I'm sorry, that was actually pretty good. We're going to see Gambit buy up obviously into this one. And I wonder how the calling scheme is going. This is a very squeaky chair for Nemiga, because this is one of the few maps out there that has a lot of mid-round calls. You see a lot of the rounds, you know, come down to the wire in time. So that happened quite a few times on Train, but that actually was to the dismay of Nemiga, because they got the bomb dropped, unfortunately, and were not able to go for the plant.
Well, that's actually the interesting thing for me with this team, is who is calling. The only assumption I can make is Dosia, because he's the only person in the old roster that called. Bondic's brand new. Axel's 16. If he's calling as well, that's impressive. Mo has never called for the team, even though they chose every single other player that they ever had on the roster calling. So I imagine he just doesn't want to do it. And I don't know, maybe it could be Mir, but again, he's like the Vega Squadron days. I don't think there's too much to learn from that, of like, yeah, aggressively push everything. It's not really that much of a strategy. So I can only assume it's going to be Dosia in this scenario. Either way, speak of the man, he shall appear, and he's got to try and defend this site alone. The force buy's going fairly well so far for the T side, and I think if there's not a bit of damage done soon by the CTs, they may even have to consider trying to just save their weaponry and not handing it over to their poorer opponents.
We still have at least a incendiary grenade for Axel to throw, and the bomb has been planted. Members of Gambit have rotated back in towards the site, but how are they actually going to allow themselves to get through? Flashbang being used, that's their utility now gone. And that's going to be a nice little incendiary grenade into the back lines and towards Dark. That's 2 quick frags. The thing is, they need the third. Joe's going to still be alive, or at least he was. His Hitmouse now going to be in on 1-on-2. It looks like Gambit should have the opportunity to pull off this defuse here. They do not have a kit, though, on either player, so they just have to stick it for the entire time. He's actually been tapped off the bomb. Hitmouse has done a lot of damage to Mo. Now Diffuse coming back in again. He peeks another time. He sees him going for the Diffuse and almost pulls off. Hitmouse had the opportunity, but luckily for him, he delays it long enough, and Nemiga will pull off the second round.
Yeah, Bondic actually let go of that midway through because he did not have faith in his teammate to survive. So there was still plenty of time for them to get that final kill. And yeah, I don't know if they bought a kit at all, if there was someone lying around that he was going to try and search for. But yeah, great job by the T's. They managed to win themselves the round. Obviously, the buy-in itself in this round for both teams is going to be a bit of a messy one. You've got a lot of Mac 10s in play for the Terrorists, and on the other side, it's a mixed buy of pistols, a scout, and that one rifle that was saved from the previous round. So, yeah, definitely not the prettiest of buys for Gambit, but we have seen them do it with less. The problem is, when you talk about the CT side of Inferno, you talk about obviously wanting to have a lot of smoke and incendiaries, and although they have one, there is not a single incendiary in the server for them.
I feel like Inferno is a very slippery map too. Just the fact of when you lose this control on the CT side, it's very hard to get it back. You want to see, like you're saying, a lot of Molotovs being used to aggressively take positions around the map, especially towards Banana, as we see. Mirror will get one before he does burn up. So 1-for-1 trade here, get some information as well, most importantly. And again, I respect that Nemiga are taking things slow, especially considering Gambit have been able to force up into this round. Definitely not the prettiest of buys, but they're making it work. Axel again, that's CZ, that's his 3rd kill.
That's an AK as well. That's one of the heavy hitting weapons for the CT side. That's a bit of a mistake to not have anybody supporting in that scenario. Okay, you still got Mo, very low on HP and no Kevlar behind it. He's going to be waiting on the cross. No flashbang, easy tag. Just whittle them down for those pistols to do the extra damage. And obviously those players are going to be playing a little bit more scared for the majority of the rounds. And well, with the wraparound coming in from MDS, they're going to try and get themselves in, but Axel is here with the AK. Bit of a miss spray, and actually, Joe's going to be there to finish him off, but Bondic, quick on the flank, spots one, spots the second, manages to drop the first, and Robo doesn't even seem to realize, too focused in on the site, and with the bomb now dropped, it's left all onto Joe to try and clutch this. He knows that both players are likely around this corner, spots out. Dosia goes for the second spray, but this time Bondic is there to finish things off.
This isn't the first time that Nemiga had been punished for not checking angles or not covering angles. We think back to Train when Doja was sitting in upper. Not one player for Nemiga went that direction. It caused him to lose the round. Here, not having a player looking towards library, Bondic's able to actually spot 2 players out before he does go for the frag there and picks around the corner to get the second. Just these mistakes that shouldn't be really happening at a high level. I wonder if it's the pressure. I wonder if it's nerves. I wonder if it's just kind of them forgetting about certain things or expecting their teammate to watch an angle.
I think in that case, it may have even just been the surprise of Bondic being there so fast, because it was quite a sort of heavy gamble rotation that came in from the Gambit side, and he was very, very quick to get into the library. But as you said, it's not really a forgivable situation. They need to be making sure that they check all the angles properly, and yeah, they've been punished again and into a position where, okay, Joe's got himself a rifle. He's got that nice little SG to try and do some damage, the Krieg, but other than that, it's just pistols in play, and this is a full investment and not really that much behind it.
Axel's been pretty much been on poverty weapons his entire first half so far on the CZ, now the SMG.
Had an AK for a little bit when he managed to steal.
Couple of seconds. Until Joe popped him in the head.
And again, he did better with the CZ, so maybe that's his weapon of choice. But either way, it is going to be, again, this take of upper middle. Try and get that wrap around. It is going to be Mo waiting there with the scout. Doesn't hit the tag this time. Actually goes back for more. Probably doesn't expect there to be an SG on the other side. And that is going to be the opener for the T's. The problem is there's not a whole lot of time left on the clock, but there's only 2 players here. The rotation has not come in. The CT side not gambling players, and even if they had, it'd be way too late. Bondic's got everything to do. He has had a good start, but MDS is going to be there to close it out, and there's nothing the remaining CT side can do. So back and forward we go. The 2-2 will be put on in the server, of course. Although Jason does seem to be wearing one as well.
People can't see what's under the desk, man.
If I started standing on the box, they might be able to.
You refuse to. We actually do have one for you. Just don't want to stand on it.
I don't really want my crotch resting on the desk. That's my big thing. Yeah, and also,
I don't think anyone wants that.
Also, the second you step on a box, it's you admitting that you're small. And I refuse to do that. I will fight the system. You are just a giant. Like, you are inhuman, so...
I'm normal height, okay? Yeah. 6'6" is normal height.
Normal height, maybe for a basketball player.
No, that's actually short, I think. 2-2 now as Nemiga do tie things up yet again. It's been very back and forth maps so far. I mean, we're only 4 rounds in, but we've seen rounds traded constantly between these 2 teams, all coming down to a couple of like frags that could have turned the tides completely. Again, you saw Mo there. We went for the re-challenge on Joe, and Joe was able to get the better of him with the SG. There's a couple of moments that could change how this entire map has been able to go so far, but credit to Nemiga to kind of brush off train. I feel like a lot of teams and a lot of players will, especially if you're one of the newer players, will kind of let that sit in the back of their mind. They can't just completely forget about it and then just solely focus on that second map. For instance, Axile, I think, to me, would be a player, so young, 16, to be able to struggle to do that. But then able to, keep that composure, most importantly. I feel like MDS just can't open that.
He's got better things.
He doesn't want to injure like his thumb or something like that. I mean, to be fair, these are actually like high quality. Like it doesn't give a nice little crisp pop when you do lift it off. Does hurt a little bit.
To be fair, I've actually just been leaving mine open so that I don't have to do that every time I want to.
Yeah, that can't go wrong at all.
It's like I'm careful. I'm not like you smashing glasses in the lobby.
Oh come on, let's not talk about that. It was an accident. Never mind. Anyways. 2 of the bat coming in for Nemiga. Gambit, again, be forcing back up here, realizing how close these rounds are and how much they can bankrupt the other team if they can get a clean round. Robo, though, going to take the head completely off of Mo, and Bondic being forced to use his smoke just to keep himself alive. So now they know there's someone in Cubby. You see Robo still trying to hold this angle. In the meantime, Hitmouse has been the kind of anchor for the team on the T side. He's been maintaining the B position, at least trying to get towards Banana, trying to deny them any sort of real estate they could use to get aggressive and, more importantly, gather information. But Gambit have gone for the gamble. They've actually rotated a player back over. It's going to be Mir over to the A site.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't like when we see the CT side forcing as much as we have. I get the idea. Obviously, your opponent's money is low. You've sort of had this backwards and forwards. You've never built up any finances, but I always think it's going to be a bigger problem for the CT side. The way you see the big amounts of rounds coming in on the CT side is building up that economy, having all the utility, and just stopping them taking over portions of the map, like dominating Banana. In these sort of scenarios, we're just, as you said, seeing gambles throw it in. This time, it has actually worked out. They've got the majority of their players on the right side, but MDS is going to put one of them down. Dosia has at least found a trade, but they are completely isolated out from this site, and realistically, they may even want to consider just saving what they've got. They're going to try and boost up Axar, but without head armor, he'll meet the same fate of his teammate. Yeah, realistically, the remaining 2 players just have to save. So Gambit will just be falling back. Dosia's hoping he can find a weapon somewhere around, but instead, he'll just find a lot of bullets.
Just needs to find the weapon to use those bullets with. Would be helpful.
He's just got them all stored in his pocket.
Just take them out of his body and use them himself. Robo's going to rotate back in around middle and try to punish this. It's going to be the last minute alive, going to be Bondic. As you can see in the minimap, I think they're most likely going to be able to close in on this. Though, I think it's dangerous to do so. You let him get away with FAMAS, great. But you also maintain your AKs, your SIG, your M4. Like, you don't want to lose any of these big weapons when you've been struggling economy-wise. And with that frag coming through, with that money being put in their pockets, now Nemiga have a real chance to get on a roll here. They have a real chance to start to snowball these rounds and build up a nice lead.
Yeah, and the thing is that they're doing it clean as well. Even though, as you said, they are hunting. I feel like a lot of that, especially for a team who just lost the first map, I think it's a confidence booster. Like, you want to remove all the weapons from the hands. You want to give yourselves the easiest rounds possible. And you also just want to start padding your stats a little bit. Like, although it's one of those things where, like, a lot of sort of coaches and managers will say you shouldn't ever, as a pro player, have tab even bound. That just don't look at the scoreboard. It's per round, focus in on each one. You know that there's a player who goes, yeah, I've got 10 frags and we're only into round 6. Like, you know that there's.
I feel my HLTV rating spiking up right now, boys.
Oh, and cheeky 1.4. It's like, you know that helps, and even if that is just based off like eco frags, I'm sure that like if you even talk to like, for example, like people like Esperanto or people like Smooya, they'll joke about the idea of like, these eco frags are mine, I'm running down mid because I want to get my HLTV ranking up, or I want to make sure that my frags at the end say above 25 or something.
I mean, you're right. Like, I feel like, again, confidence is one of the biggest things to have when playing, and if you don't have that confidence, then you can lose matches yourself. But if you do have that confidence, you can almost single-handedly win games for yourself and your team. And look at Ziwu. Just imagine him on a day where he's confident, on a day he's not confident. I mean, yeah, they'll probably still have a positive rating for him, but there'll be a massive difference in his rating if he's confident versus not.
I'd like to see a day where he's not confident, because the way he plays at the moment is pretty damn ludicrous.
I would like to see him and Simple on a team together with Nico.
So basically, you just want to rebuild your own version of FaZe.
Yeah, but that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
We got to talk about this yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just interested, like, would it be every round just somebody going, bro, I'm going to take a peek? No, I'm taking a peek. No, and they would just be like, say on Inferno, 3 different people peeking mid with an AWP or just something, like, insane.
Yeah, but that's probably 3 kills most likely going your way, at least.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
There we go. Now round 7. We're going to have the bot come back in for Gambit. It's going to be a little bit shoddy, though. You see Doja on the ump again. Seems to favor going towards this weapon as he's holding up close and personal towards the B site and Banana. Bondic with a nice little peek, actually. Downs MDS, so it gives him the man advantage in the round.
I think that's a bit of a missmoke, though. That gives an angle onto Joe to try and take a peek. I don't know if his feet will have actually been spotted as he crossed there. I think they may have been, so I think there's definite knowledge, or there should be from Bondic, that he's a little bit closer than he might suspect. Rounding the corner, though, Bondic still wins the battle. Now, this is an important round for Gambit because this is another bare bones buy. This is not like they've invested into a hell of a lot of utility. This is just pure rifles, so we still haven't seen what I would consider a full buy for Gambit yet over on this CT side. But if they can steal this one away, that's what we'll get in the next round. They'll be able to retrieve an extra rifle or two and be able to buy up the grenades. So that could be the real start for Gambit. Of course, Nemiga, they're going to try and want to stop that.
Hopefully for their sake. I mean, they're up by 2 rounds, yes, but they're still down 1 in maps in the series. Have a little bit of a rotate come back in. Mirror going to join Doja on the B site. And as you can see, the hit will be coming in this direction. It seems they have the smokes to do so, especially the Molotov as well. But only 1 flashbang, so if they can get in there and get the bomb down, great. But they don't really have the utility to hold on to this unless someone can go huge. A couple of big kills. 25 seconds left to go here, Tom. The push is going to come in. The rotates as well at his Gambit as they know it's coming towards the B site. Let's see what they can do.
Dosia burned down quite a bit, but luckily it seems like his teammates have got him back. Now, even dropping a kill or 2 here could be very valuable for them in the Nemiga side because they want to keep that economy nice and low, but unfortunately for them, it is going to be the 4-man save, and as I said, some rifles picked up. So this will be where we start seeing the sort of better purchases coming in from the side of Gambit. Now, obviously, Nemiga, no trouble for them to purchase back up either. They've had a few rounds in a row themselves and started to build up the finances off the back of that, like back and forth, where they were picking up a lot of the weapons that Gambit were dropping. And yeah, it pretty much is just full rifles across the board. No AWP yet for Mo, although, again, although I think it will have impact on this CT side when he does get it, I don't think this is one of his pinnacle maps. I think there's going to be other players that need to be stepping up to the table.
Look at that damage being done with the nades. MDS down to 47, Hitmess down to 66, Robo down to 86. A hell of a nade coming through and a hell of a lot of damage being done. It looks like they're going to pick up the pace, though, try to overwhelm Moo, who's in the wrong position, but he has the right shots, gets himself a double kill. Axel as well dropping off the balcony. And I think this push, this aggressive play, Nemiga might be shut down. But again, just as I talked about, Lolly picks himself up a double. Bondic as well gets 1, but Hitmouse is going to shut him. Mir going to be all alone now as he's trying to come in through short, but Hitmouse will be here off in towards the site. He's got a lot of time to work with. He's got 2 players to find.
I like this. They've rotated to play together. Both are going to be trying to push in from the same angle. They should know roughly where Hitmouse is, and Dosia, was that through the smoke or was there a gap in it? I imagine there was a bit of a gap in it. But yeah, they do get themselves a second in a row. Even still, the T's do have enough money to buy into this next one. They really did build up a bulk of cash, and we're going to see the AWP grace Robo's hands for the first time so far in this match. And he was pretty damn impactful when it came up in the previous.
It kind of surprised me that they didn't go for a flash onto to Mo when they knew there was going to be someone in that side of the map. Over towards short, why would you not keep someone towards short, right? And they ended up rushing it without a flashbang to give an opportunity. Instead, he picks up 2 massive frags. Go for a quick op peep in towards middle as well. Just to update you guys really quickly on the other match on the B stream. It's currently 9-2 in favor of Prosto on cash, but they are down 0-1 in the series against Runtime. So if you want to check that one out, just head over to the B stream.
I'm guessing that's both teams winning their maps. Utility damage again. Only done a bit onto Joe here. He's been tanked up by the Molotovs, but had to expend his smoke, so a little bit of utility. That nade was critical, though. 55 damage onto Hitmouse. We can already see just the amount of damage that Gambit are able to do with these early nades that just wasn't there before. They weren't able to do before. And they've already spotted a couple of players over to Banana, even start rotating a 3rd player over in the form of Bondic to sort of bolster up this defense. The problem is it's not really a dedicated push just yet. There's still a couple of players waiting around in the apartments and the bomb waiting further down the bottom of Banana just in case there is more aggression coming out. And J.O., like, I thought he was just going to go running in there for a second. He seemed like he wanted blood.
We saw Gambit respect it too. They immediately backed away when they saw the flash come through. Thing is, it's mostly just a fake here. And there's a lot of smokes left for Gambit. But the problem is they're mostly towards this A side, not towards B, which is, I think, why we're seeing Bondic. I think he just donated one.
Yeah, he rotated in just to throw smoke. I love it. That buys so much time and makes things so much more difficult for the T side. Although, He seems a little bit unsure as to where the push is going to be coming in. The rotation starts to go back. Now, they do have Lollipop over towards the A site as a sort of, well, basically to catch rotations. That's the idea. But with 15 seconds left on the clock, they're actually going to double back around. And this is now a little bit of a problem, but they have to get that bomb down. And I don't even know if they're going to have enough time. They have to go straight away and get it down. Otherwise, this is round over. If it hits the floor, it's done. And I don't even think they have enough time. Yeah, just straight around the corner. Round is done. And Nemiga have played themselves.
Kind of confusing because when we saw them try to like quote unquote execute to sell a fake towards the B side, they double smoke coffins.
I think the bigger thing there is it's not even the problem. It's once that smoke went down from Bondik, I think their whole idea went out the window. I think they were so ready to go for an execute, and then with 30 seconds left, he puts down a smoke that's going to burn at least 15 seconds off the clock, and they just started to panic. So, okay, yeah, let's throw our nades anyway, and by that point, you've run out of time. I think if they ran straight onto the site with the bomb, they get the bomb plant, and that's just not going to happen. There's not going to be no one there.
Yeah. Well, Gambit seemed to have read into Nemiga quite well. They've actually over doubled the amount of rounds they had the last time they met on Inferno. Problem is now Nemiga's going to be back on kind of half buy, kind of quarter buy with MDS with an AK. Able to save from the last round. Of course, the head armor is on top of that. I just feel like, in general, it seems like Gambit are the ones getting the opening frags. And speaking of nade damage, by the way, I wonder if we can actually see the utility damage out of Gambit, because it has to be pretty damn high considering we've only had 10 rounds done. There's been multiple rounds where Hitmouse or MDS has been dropped pretty close to half HP off of a grenade.
Look at this, though. It's just the position of Dosia jump spotting at the moment. They have all the other players just waiting over towards this B side. It's a good hold at the moment, although the trades are coming back in. There's still a couple of players around this arch side, but that should at least net a bomb plant for the remaining players. Hitmouse going to go for a much safer plant, which does leave them in a little bit of a detriment when it comes to the after plant situations, as that really isn't one of the stronger spots where they can defend from. Mir needs to win this battle, and he will, and now leaves Hitmouse no armor in a 1 versus 3. This is just an impossible situation. He needs to start popping heads the second they round that corner, and Bondik already starting to pre-fire some of the angles. He's given the game away with a spray, and Dosia will be there to finish it off. Great retake coming in from Gambit, not losing a single player. Still, the money is yet to really build up for them to a strong point, but they are definitely looking much stronger on Inferno, as you said.
Speaking of looking strong, Bondik, 12-5 before that round did end. He's playing out of his mind here.
It was mentioned on the desk that they've lost 2 of their sort of heavy hitters on this map, but I definitely think that in terms of adding to their Inferno game, Bondik is going to be one of the players. I think in Hellraisers he was always very good at this map, and actually he's given me one of the sort of best moments I've ever seen. It was like a ridiculous clutch that he pulled off against North to help them win the BetNet Masters. So he played very, very well in that map, and yeah, 137 ADR pretty much says it all.
13-5 now after just 10 rounds of time. Again, Lollipop only 5. Robo as well. And Joe, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of hard to analyze the amount of kills both these teams have, because we have scrappy, like, first 4 or 5 rounds, right? So there's constant buying back and forth. It's hard to get any sort of domination going your way. But in terms of, like, 2+ kill rounds, we do have MDS and Joe with actually 3. And then Bondik and Mo on the other side have 4 apiece. Again, a lot of those probably come in towards these ecos, towards these awkward buys. This is one of the first times we've actually seen, I believe, Gambit even Molotov up towards Banana. We haven't just seen them get aggressive towards Banana either, to try to go for, you know, the aggressive defense. Seems like they're pretty committed to the way they want to hold it. Great flashbang comes through as well, catching Joe out. Allows Mir to pick up that frag.
I'm interested to see the initial fights from Joe, because he's, what, so he's 2 and 3 now? Because he sort of has been struggling once they've got the utility to actually get any of those opening picks, because he's been Molotov multiple times out of the corners and had to use his utility to try and hold himself back. And then the flashbang in that round just absolutely destroyed him. So, yeah, maybe needing a little bit more support himself, because he was isolated there. His teammate did not come through the smoke with him. It was sort of a one-man army attempting to take on Gambit. And, well, as we can see from the last few rounds, 4 in a row, it's not been going very well at all.
Looks like, again, Nemiga gonna drag this down to the wire. 40 seconds left to go. Do have, looks like, Bondik in towards pit. We've got Axel holding towards apartments. We got Mo over towards Library at the moment, just barely down this position with AWP. I would like to see a flashbang or smoke come in to allow or deny him some sort of chance of actually getting any shots off, and they have been able to do it. The thing is, he rotates around, he gets the bomb down, Hitmouse is now out of this fight. The thing is, MDS has come around from apartments. I actually thought Axel was holding this position, but eventually they will be able to deal with him. They will be able to deny some sort of location or an area around this, but they left the bomb in towards Cubby. 10 seconds left to go, and there's no chance. Nemiga have lost another round here. Gambit up to 7 in this half.
Yeah, it's another scenario where they're sort of beginning their execute at 25 seconds, and the fact is that it seems like they're waiting, in a sense, to find an opening pick, to get an opening duel, but over the last few rounds, they've lost every single one. And the second that happens, it just seems like they're out of the round. Like, they had the bomb dropped again. I said it was 25 seconds left. It burns it down a little bit further, and the rest of the players are just trying to survive the bombardment of the remaining players. And then you have to remember that there's still 2 players in pit. So the chance of you getting onto the site and planting the bomb with that little time left is just slim. So
too many angles to cover and to check and clear before you can even get a bomb down.
It seems like they're trying to almost like just burn down the clock and hope somebody pushes, and then, wow, it comes a little bit messy towards the end. Either way, we are going to have this push looking to execute in onto the site. Axel's been caught with a nade up, still manages to get the opening, and Bondik's there to support him. This pit play has been fantastic so far from these 2 individuals, and well, with 5 men pushing into the site, they're left down to just 2. Exile is still standing, the youngster doing bits for his team at the moment, and while Mo just comes in at the end to say, you know what, I have to.
It seems kind of odd to me, and I hope on the desk maybe they can look into this, but like the usage of Molotovs on the T side for Nemiga just hasn't really been there. Thing is, like, they run out of apartments, right? They get onto balcony, but there's so many angles they're being shot from. If you even just narrow that down to pit, there's still so much real estate to use for the CT side of Gambit to attack from. With no Molotovs in towards like deep pit, there's no way to actually cut off a lot of those locations so they can, you know, funnel their attention into a smaller angle to actually pick up these frags. Axile, I mean, he got caught with a nade out in his hands, but he didn't get killed.
Well, yeah, he was out in the open on short. Like, he shouldn't have survived anywhere near that long. Manages to get back to pit, has Bondik obviously supporting him as well, who basically just had an opportunity to free fire at a few players because they were so focused on trying to kill the youngster that realistically they were never going to win that round. So yeah, it is looking a little bit messy from the T side of Nemiga at the moment. You have to hope that they've got a stronger CT side because they've already lost this first half, and well, this round is not looking particularly good. They're going to try and force this one with the pistols they have. I will say in this round at least, Gambit have used a hell of a lot of utility early on. Right? They've only got a few smokes left. Luckily though, it seems like Axel is woken up and starting to gain a little bit in confidence. Another triple kill back-to-back from him. There's 1 man left in the form of Hitmouse trying to turn this back, but Mo is there to help out once again. 9-4, fairly comfortable at the moment for Gambit. And although the money's not in insane proportions, we're getting towards the end of the half and they're not going to be running out of cash.
Yeah, not at all. And it's not even like they've had necessarily like a, I don't want to say comfortable lead because that's not what I mean, but it's not like they've had a comfortable bankroll this entire half. I mean, they had a couple of rounds where like, yeah, we're looking all right, but yeah, to be fair to Nemiga, they've been punishing it. They've been keeping that economy controlled. The problem is they can't win these rounds. They can't get the 5 kills they need. They can't get the bomb down in time. They're not getting the picks, the initial duels that they want. And I still feel like their utility usage has been a little bit wonky to facilitate Joe, who was doing really well in train and getting these opening duels. You're not really facilitating a way for your fraggers to pick up these kills.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing as well is if you just look purely on stats, I can tell you exactly where the pushes are coming in for Nemiga. Because Bondik, Axel, and Mo have nearly all of the kills. Like, in fact, one of them has more than the 2 B players combined. Because we're just not seeing any challenge over towards B anymore. In the early rounds where we actually saw Nemiga winning some of their rounds, it was when they were able to take over that B side, but they're just being bombarded early on by utility. Like, I highly doubt that the ADR is that low for the players on the B side because they're able to get the grenade damage early on, and then if Gio's pushed over there, he's lost. And then that's it. Like, they haven't tried to throw further forward. They've just pretty much given up after the initial duel. Like, Mir is currently 6-6. I believe Dosi is 4-5. But when you actually think about the amount of rounds they've lost the B site, there's barely any.
Yeah, definitely. And what kind of worries me is that Nemiga have switched things up. They initially had Hitmouse being the one to go banana and try to force out some utility. So if they do want to go for that late round rotate, which they've done in the past to get some rounds, then they were able to. We even have seen in a prior round, Bondic was forced to rotate from A just to put a smoke down towards B to deny them that location. Then instead they ran towards A, rushed in, and then did die. So they've not really been able to bait out a lot of the utility that the CT side has been able to use towards the B site to make an actual attack work. Now 40 seconds left in the last round of the half. It seems like they do want to go towards a push at this B site. Doja has no smoke. Mirror's dead. Bondic not going to be here, as Mo's going to be the one to help hold on to this. But again, they have no smoke. They have no way of denying this push or delaying it. And finally, Nemiga might have the opportunity to make something happen.
Yeah, the Molotov also forces Mo straight out of the corner, but he's still going to find the opener. Dosia there to support as well, and Mo just rattling off shots. Finally, we'll see Lollipop spring into life as he gets a double opener, but Bondic's now looking to round the corner, and the deadly duo from Pit has now looked to try and retake the B site. There's 5 seconds on the clock. It doesn't matter. The round's already done. He's got to get the kills, and Bondic even peeks into the end. Even though they weren't the ones defending the Pit, they've come out of it, and they've won the round anyway.
There was no CT smoke out of Nemiga there either. They kind of just ran in. Again, trying to go back to the idea of what I was talking about, not really cutting off angles to limit the field of view they need to check out. There's too many angles to cover, and it allows Mo to just sit back and pick up kill after kill. Doja as well, like they're not being punished. There's no flashbangs, there's no Molotov besides the one that forced Mo out of shadow over to his different position, or even for Doja to have to be forced to move.
Already Mo.
Okay.
You can see the confidence. Well, I don't even need to say building. It's built. He's aggressively peeking into middle and even finding the opener within the first 10 seconds of the round. There's problems building on problems, and CT's over towards Banana, looking like they're trying to take the fight again. Now, they did lose it previously. It looks like both players want to be the player on top, but one of them has to be on the bottom, unfortunately. Well, Dosia, that's going to be jump spotting. You could see Mir was looking to actually go for the rotation back towards the A site, but after his teammate almost loses his head, decides to support. Of course, only 4 players standing. You can get away with having just the 3-man stack over onto the A site. Even still, Mo still homed in on this angle. And although the flash is there, you talk about flashbangs, sometimes it doesn't seem to matter.
There we go. Finally, Lollipop, though, able to deal with Axel. Has been having free reign over the short position for majority of this half. Though you still have Bondic and Pit, and Bondic can do some serious work. He's been able to get up to 16 frags so far. Even got to smoke up to deny any sort of Molotov. But again, there's no Molotov to actually deny him this position, to force him out into a location they can kill him. Mo's going to be there to back him up as Lollipop tries to go towards the high ground. Mo picks up a second kill as well. Now it's just all on hit mouse up against 4 in the last round of the half. Nade comes through, and Bondic gets the headshot. An 11-4 half is a damn good job by Gambit.
Yeah, either way, we're going to have to wait and see whether or not Nemiga have the stones to turn things around on their CT side, as we'll be back after a short break.
Welcome back, everyone, to the CIS Minor for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2019 Major. Jason Kaplan still joined by Tom as we kick off the second half of our second map here between Nemiga and Gambit. And Gambit was able to pull off an 11-4 scoreline on that CT half. Can they keep that momentum come into the CT side here, Tom?
Yeah, I think this is going to be very, very difficult. The momentum coming into the CT side.
Sorry, into the T side.
So I was about to say, I was like, Nemiga have momentum?
There was a lot of words. I had to do a lot of words.
Well, look at this aggression out from the CT side. They've got a little bit caught in their sights, and Dosia's just come in with a double to start things off once again. Joe down the bottom. This could be a little bit interesting. Mo's been caught, but he still manages to slip back to his gun and take off his head anyway. Lollipop and MDS now the only two remaining, and you can see the Gambit side have gathered up towards the banana with their smokes, with their nades ready to try and take control of this site. I'm interested where the two HEs are going to be going, unless they're for some sort of after plant position, because they just still have them held in hand. Maybe something was prepared, but they got the kills too early on anyway. Still MDS in the site. He'll go down without a fight, and it's left on to Lollipop. Does have himself the smoke, but no kit to be had, and he's got players pushing him. They know all the information, and Mir will put him down. Great work from Gambit in that pistol round, and now this game is looking pretty much over.
You still have Simon Gaming waiting for their opponents to play against as well.
Yeah, they wanted Nemiga. Yeah, maybe.
Well, what they want, I don't think, is what they're going to get at this rate.
No, yeah, you can't always get what you want in life, hence why I'm casting with Jason.
Wow. Or maybe it's why you don't have any hair.
Yeah,
This
is a choice, you know, a style choice.
A choice to not have.
Yeah.
You do have hair, it's just not on your head.
Well,
At least on the top of your head.
Not touching that.
Well, 12-4 now for Gambit. You do see the investment out of Nemiga here into round 17. A couple of SMGs being used, and I wonder how Gambit are going to go about this too, because I feel like, oh, that's a missed smoke.
Yeah, that could give quite a bit of space, especially because Mir's looking like he's just going to go barreling straight in. Obviously, didn't have much action over in the previous half, as most of the time it was A pushes coming in from Nemiga. Still, even with that, they throw an extra smoke and all of that, clearly realizing the mistake. Just going to cover their backs, and already at least
Another missed
damage.
Kind of.
Yeah, I think that was the CT smoke, right?
Yep.
They were attempting to just smoke them off. Either that or it's some next level play to not allow them to see any of the players as they push in, but I don't think that's going to be the case. And 50 seconds left on the clock. It seems like the CTs are a little bit confused, and the Ts are sort of just waiting back patiently as they look to now rotate back towards the A side. The fact is, though, the one thing Nemiga have done, right, is they haven't rotated anybody. There's still 3 players ready and waiting for this push to come in.
There's still a lot of time on the board. There is a chance where Gambit could rotate back towards B, realizing that we baited out a lot of the utility, and actually they're going to be doing just that. They bait out more utility towards the A site, slowly creeping the ways. They had left Mir to lurk over in Banana, and Doja to lurk in towards apartments, and here we go. This is going to be very difficult to hold on to for Nemiga. Molotov coming in as well. Hitmouse being forced to rotate back towards construction. Joe's going to have a lot of work ahead of him, and he's not able to get a frag. Does do a decent amount of damage, but damage isn't enough. It isn't a kill. And Hitmouse will get one, but eventually Axi will pick up his third. And that will be the bomb down in just the nick of time.
EDS taking the range fight. Does actually manage to still finish off Dosia, but the fact is it's now left all onto Lollipop once again. And just as in the last round, the situation is not a good one. He's left with the SMG, and Bondik not patient enough. Just going to be pushing straight down to finish him off. And that was a little bit sketchy, I'll say, for Gambit, because if you watch towards the end, they had to double Molotov over into CT because they didn't actually have any smokes left because of the sort of early kerfuffle with all the double smokes that they were throwing to try and sort of close down positions, but it works out for them. The CTs are now forced into what will be an eco. Now, the reason, obviously, we see them forced in the previous round is because now they will get at least one full buy going in, and they can try and just string all the rounds together to bring it back, but I think that's going to be a very difficult task for Nemiga, and if they're not feeling a little bit down in the dumps already, I'd be very surprised.
3 MAC-10s as well here for Gambit. A lot of money to be made, Joe. Uses the Zeus. Doesn't get the kill, though. Takes Spear down to 9 health.
Oh, that's the worst. It's not even the fact that you've bought the Zeus, you've attempted something a little bit spicy, but the fact that you hit the shot and then you don't get the kill, like, I think he deserved that. 9 HP on Mir, but either way, he's got away with it. Now we look towards the other side of the map. The B site completely under the control. This round is over, of course. Well, Dosia now pretty low. Lollipop's just going to be waiting. He could have finished that one off with any weapon, pretty much, except maybe a Glock through a wall in the toe. Might not finish him off, but other than that, it's pretty much a safe bet.
You know what confuses me is that there's actually no indication of the CTs having a Zeus on the overlay. It actually did pop up. Lollipop had one. Couldn't even see it.
Is it not? It's normally as a
yeah, it wasn't there. Wasn't there. I wonder if that was just maybe a bug. I thought normally you can't see it. Maybe I'm just going crazy. Maybe I've been Overwatch too much.
Yeah.
Probably that.
We all know that the best Overwatch is the system that's used to find cheaters, of course, in CSGO.
That is... Oh, there we go. See, he had it, but he wasn't shown.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't me. I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
Maybe a little bit.
14-4. If you're casting with me, you're definitely a little crazy. 14-4 for Gambit. Is now 2 rounds away for getting through to play against...
Blade was just chilling. He's like, and my work is done. And just having a little nap.
Honestly, I feel like coaches don't get enough credit. Like, the fact of how many hours of demos they have to pile through, looking at those demos. Like, one demo could take you, 3-4 hours, depending on looking at different angles, the way they hold it, trying to remember certain, tendencies teams have. There's a lot of work to be done, and I think he can definitely take a sigh of relief here, but not for too long. Because they're not out of the woods just yet. Even if they do win here, they still have to beat the team that beat them yesterday to get through into the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Simon says about that. Either way.
Really?
Straight through the smoke. That's going to be Mo going down. Nothing he can really do about that one. And strong start at least for the CT side. Bear in mind, this is their sort of one chance. They've got themselves the utility. They've got the rifles as well. They saved for this buy and now need to try and string at least 11 rounds together to get them to OT. Now, they have done that in the past. They've managed to get a big bulk of rounds to bring them to overtime. Unfortunately, they did lose that game anyway, but they definitely gave Spirit a run for their money over on Mirage after what was, I think, a 12-5 scoreline initially. So either way, boost up, one player below the other. I quite like this little setup, although it does mean that now he's fallen down. Hitmouse is kind of screwed. So he's going to fall, and there's not much that Geo can do to help him. And he's going to need some support of his own as the rotation begins to come in from Robo, who definitely has not had the impact. He's been one of the sort of consistent fraggers, I'd say, for this Nemiga roster. He's currently set 7 and 15.
Yeah, especially in the match versus Spirit, who's putting up some good numbers. Even on Train, we saw he was putting up some fantastic shots with the AWP. But here you go, 20 seconds left. Gambit actually switching over towards the A site, trying to push back in. Lollipop, it's going to come down to him. A lot of work on him and MDS. And Lollipop gets one. He's not able to get the spray completely onto his second opponent. And that's going to be Doja picking up a double kill with the AWP. Bomb will be planted. Now Robo and Joe. I mean, they have low HP targets. The problem is utility's not going to be there. They have no clean way of dislodging Doja from Pit unless they can just out-aim him.
Oh, this is already looking bleak. And yep, we are just going to see the rest of the team backing out, trying to save their weapons ready for the next round. It is going to be a 15th up now. We have to bear in mind that when we saw them play this in the qualifier, Gambit lost this 16-2. So obviously different day, it's on LAN, you can comment on many different things, but personally I believe that a lot of changes must have come in, a lot of sort of reviews have been done, and well, just look at those 3 players that were playing over to the A side. I think every single one of them had over 100 ADR. I believe it was Mo, Bondic, and Axile, just having a very, very good game indeed.
Especially Axile. I feel like he was relatively quiet in yesterday's match. I actually kind of want to go look at what he did put up in their match on Train. Because again, being 16, a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and he's able to really step up when it really, really matters, considering what's at stake here in this match.
Either way, we are going to have the purchase back in. Still managing to keep the bread on the table, at least for this round, but Nemiga are up against the full force of Gambit. They've got the AWP back in onto Mo's hand, although Docio did a pretty damn good job with it in the previous round. And now they're going to go for a gamble stack of their own, although what I will say, I'm not a big fan of teams not having a sort of spotter on Banana. If you're the solo player on that site, I feel like you need a little bit more information. Hitmouse has been seen sort of almost back in the site itself, and it means if there's a push on to B, Gambit have pretty much guaranteed this round. However, what we're seeing, at least initially in the round, is the probing coming in over towards the A side. They've got to be careful because Joe's sat in the corner, Bondic is going to be rounding, even just pre-fires in. It's only going to be a trade. Robo straight back with the kill. Now Dosia hopes to try and find the flash, but they've spotted the majority of players here. Mo hoping that he can maybe pick off one, but you can already see the rest of the team have rotated to try and challenge onto the B side. The problem is, the man who needs to retrieve the bomb is Mo, and MDS is well placed to actually drop it.
You see immediately the call's been made. All right, guys, stop. We got to rotate back in. You still see Axel pushed up towards B, but they need to pick up this bomb. They still have a lot of time to work with, yes, but they don't have the manpower in the later stages of this round. And there's definitely a somewhat possibility they could save these weapons. I mean, Bondic's at 5,300, Mirror's at 6K, Dojet's at 3.5, just to have the AWP picked up from O into the next. And there's not that much time left, so it's definitely a real possibility. But then again, they have a lot of rounds to play with here, so it's not like they have to go for something critical here. They could try to make something happen, some sort of play out of this youngster here, as you're seeing Axel be the one to push up towards short.
Problem is, again, we spoke about this in the previous half, there's so many angles to clear and they've only got 10 seconds to do it. The corner spot should be enough to end it, but they're going to peek in and get both. That should not have happened, and they've actually got the plant as well. That is a big mistake again from Nemiga, and now they're fighting for their survival. Robo and Hitmouse trying to bring this home, trying to keep them going, but Mir with another pinging headshot leaves Hitmouse alone. It hasn't been his map so far, but he needs to try and do something in this clutch situation. The 4v2 now 2v1. And he's going to try and clear these players from pit. They've been so successful in these spots in the first half of this map. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, and Axile will be there to finish it. 16-4. Absolute dominance coming in from Gambit. And although it was predicted that they were going to win, I don't think anybody thought it would be in this sort of fashion.
Yeah, considering how Nemiga knocked them into the lower half of the bracket in the qualifiers to even get here today, winning 16-2 on Inferno. Yeah. Definitely not expected at all, but congratulations to Gambit. Meantime, we're going to be done for now. We're going to head over to an analyst to break down that last map.